And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our MLR Week 14 pick'ems for the Week 14 slate of games, as well as our review of our MLR SuperBru Rugby411 pick'em pool. Which is still super exciting, especially as we're getting close to the end of the season. It's the race for the top spot is getting closer and closer. Anybody could still walk away as the winner of the pick'em pool. Let's go over Week 14 games. We got 5 games. I feel, especially as we look at our SuperBru MLR Rugby411 pick'em pool, the last couple of weeks, including this last week that just happened, week number 13, the games have been very predictable. No offense, and not taking anything away from any of us who have picked perfect picks the last couple of weeks, including myself. I feel it, and I've discussed with some of the other players in the pool. I feel it's definitely feels like some games are very predictable. I feel this slate of games this week is not so easy to pick. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how well these pick'ems go, and it's also going to be interesting to see how well the players in our pool end up making their picks. So let's move on. 5 games this weekend. We have 2 on Saturday and then 4 on Sunday. Mother's Day Sunday is going to be filled with rugby for your mother who is a huge rugby fan. The NOLA Gold are the only team that are on a bye. We start Saturday, May 7th, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quinn, New England. Old Glory DC hosts the New England Free Jacks. I feel in this game, and it's a rematch of the games from week number 3, where the Free Jacks pretty much dominated Old Glory DC 41-25. Now, granted, Old Glory DC are definitely a different team ever since they've gotten a new head coach. There's definitely a new attitude, a new winning attitude. They're coming off of a bye, so that kind of helps too. And they are on a 2-game winning streak. But it is asking a lot from Old Glory DC. New England Free Jacks are the best team in MLR record-wise, number 2 in my power rankings. I feel it's asking a lot of Old Glory to pull off the win against the New England Free Jacks, especially being played in New England at the Veterans Memorial Stadium. I'm going to go with the Free Jacks. And that means, to be honest, they're actually going to extend their MLR win streak to 9 games, the most games ever won by an MLR team. The next game, Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m., it's going to be a very big clash between two very physical teams. You got Rugby ATL and the Utah Warriors. It's going to be at the Zion Bank Stadium in Utah. Now, Utah has struggled quite a bit this season. Rugby ATL coming off of a pretty devastating loss to the LA Guillotines. That was a very physical game. They're going to be very beaten up. Utah just looks a little bit out of place. I feel this game's going to be very physical. Utah loves to play rough. I think, though, this will be a bounce-back game for Rugby ATL. And I go Rugby ATL will go into the Zion Bank and get the win. And then we move on to our first game on Mother's Day Sunday. Don't forget to get your mother something nice. Why not? Give her the app for free. Granted, it's for free, but don't tell her it's for free. The Rugby Network. It's a wonderful gift to give to anybody. Just don't tell them that it's free. And your rugby-loving mother can watch all the rugby she wants, anytime she wants. And we have 4 games on Mother's Day Sunday, starting early start time for us, Pacific Standard Zone living people on the West Coast, 9 a.m. start time, Sunday, May 8th. We have Rugby New York going to the Lions York Stadium in Toronto to face the Toronto Arrows. This is a rematch from week number 8. Sorry about that. This is a rematch from week number 8 where the Toronto Arrows pulled off a huge upset win, defeating at the time the 5-1 Rugby New York in New York. Now it's being played in Toronto. I really do feel this is a game that New York has been struggling. Toronto, coming off of a bye, playing at home. They definitely play better in front of their home crowd, especially after the longest road trip in the history of professional sports. I feel, and again, this is going to be a close one, I feel the Toronto Arrows will pull off the victory in this game over Rugby New York. And even though the playoff spots in the Eastern Conference are pretty much wrapped up, I don't believe Toronto has a chance to get in it. It definitely will hurt New York's chance of hosting a playoff game. They might have to settle for the number 3 spot. That's going to make it very desperate for them to want to win the game. And I'm sure Toronto would love to spoil it for New York. But, I think Toronto will pull off and sweep New York in their series in the 2022 season. And now the last 3 games of the Week 14 MLR 2022 season. 3 games on Mother's Day Sunday. One of the most important games, and also another game that's going to be very, very hard to call. Sunday, May 8th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at the world-famous LA Coliseum. It's the battle for the Ghillie Cup between the LA, your reigning, defending MLR champions, the LA Guillotinis, against the Austin Gilgronis. Now, it's announced just recently that this is for the Ghillie Cup, which I don't know if that's an official Derby Cup or not, compared to rivalry cups like the Champagne Cup, like the Texas Cup, like the Fire and Ice Cup. I don't know how long this Ghillie Cup will last because, again, there's been rumor that the Austin Gilgroni franchise has been sold and they will announce the new ownership at the end of the season. More than likely, that new ownership is not going to keep the Gilgronis name. So the Battle of the Ghillie Cup may not still be around next season. We'll see. But supposedly this game is for the Ghillie Cup. But more importantly, it is for probably the number 1 position in the Western Conference. Right now held by Austin, but LA is right behind. If LA can pull off this win, they definitely will hold their destiny in their hands because they will be very, very close behind Austin. LA will still need Austin to lose a game probably after that because I think even with the win, they may have similar records, but Austin is ahead by probably like 3 points in the standings. So Austin will still need to lose one. LA will need to be undefeated. Looking at the rest of LA's schedule, it looks very doable. They have a game against Utah. They have a game against Seattle. They have a game against the Jackals. They have a game against San Diego. All teams in the Western Conference, all teams that, no offense to those teams, very winnable by LA standards. This is going to be the big test for LA. Now, granted, I was a little weary about this game. This is a rematch from week number 5 between LA and Austin when LA went over to Austin and unfortunately lost 22-9. But if you watch that game, LA was winning the first half, maybe even you can say the first 50 minutes of the game. They were up 9-7. It's just, in the end, unfortunately, LA's defense, LA's team itself kind of looked exhausted. Austin took advantage of that and scored a couple of tries to put it up to 22-9 in the end. But it was a very winnable game for LA. Now, so many weeks later, LA is looking like a well-oiled machine, much better than the LA team from week number 5. Now, granted, there is a new wrinkle in this, as we now heard, and I mentioned this in the prior video when I was going over my power rankings. Unfortunately, one of the best players for LA, Hanko Hermesheis, has been suspended for 3 games after throwing an elbow at a Rugby ATL player. That is a huge loss for LA, as Hanko is a very, very big part of the LA offense. He has the most tries scored for LA, second most in the league. Definitely going to be a offensive weapon that LA will sorely miss. But at the same time, LA is still looking really, really good. The revelation that Harrison Goddard, who is normally the scrum half for LA, is a very adequate fly half. Plus, who knows if finally, knock on wood, finally Matt Giteau might be able to play for LA. We have some other players that might be coming back from injuries. LA is looking like a better team. Austin is kind of beat up right now, but they are still the best team in the West. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. It does help that LA is at home. As we all know, LA plays much, much better at home. You know me. You know where my heart's going to be, and that's also where my pick is going to be. I'm going to go with LA. I believe LA will win this game and win the very first and maybe the very last Ghillie Cup in this rivalry between LA and Austin. And again, might be a very pivotal win for LA in the playoff picture. Moving on, 1 hour later, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sunday, May 8th, Houston SaberCats, another pivotal game in the Western Conference. The Houston SaberCats go over to San Diego State University, the sports deck, to play against the San Diego Legion. Another game that also is going to be very, very hard to pick. For a moment, I was feeling Houston will win this game. Houston's coming off of a bye. San Diego has been struggling. I mean, they did win a game against the Dallas Jackals, pouring on the points, but it is the Dallas Jackals. Before that, San Diego had lost 2. Houston is looking like they are coming back into the form that they were at the beginning of the season. This is, again, a rematch between these two teams from week number 4, where San Diego beat Houston in Houston 31-20. Honestly, again, I was going to go with Houston with this one. I just feel after the win against Dallas, that definitely boosts them up. There's word that, and he did play, Chris Robshaw, the former England's team captain, is coming back from injury. He's looking in form. San Diego's starting to look like they're getting a little bit healthier. I feel San Diego will be up for this game. And again, this game is very important for both of these teams. There's literally 1 spot left in the Western Conference. The other 2 are held by these 2 teams. There is a chance that Houston can fight LA for that number 2 spot, but LA is ahead by quite a few points. There's going to have to be a few more losses for LA in order for Houston to do it, but if Houston beats San Diego, they're well on their way to a playoff spot. So there's a lot on the line in this game. But I feel with players coming back from injury, with that win over Dallas, with it being at home, I think San Diego pulls off the victory. It's going to be a close game. And again, this is going to be, again, another game that I feel it's going to be a lot of people are going to fight over this pick in our pick'em pool. But I think San Diego pulls off the win. Now, a game that's not going to be hard to call at all. Sunday, May 8th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to Starfire Stadium in Seattle, where the Seattle Seawolves host the Dallas Jackals. Beginning the season, sure, I felt maybe this was a game that Dallas could win. Now, Seattle. Seattle plays much better at home. Dallas is just... they're on life support, unfortunately. I feel they are the first team to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I just feel that they're going to just give a lot of their players some reps, and they're going to start looking towards the 2023 season. So Seattle walks away with the win on that one. Now, let's take a look at our MLR SuperBru Rugby411 Pick'em Pool and the results from last week. Bam. And there you go. Congratulations, SD-Cal guy, or SDCA guy, San Diego, California guy probably, who is our Golden Cap winner of the week. He got all the teams correct. He got the most bonus points and, of course, the Grand Slam points. 10.5 points. Very, very impressive. But right behind him, Frisco. Frisco, you are on fire right now in this pool. It's amazing again, guys. Frisco, I believe, was the wooden spoon in the very first week and now is just on fire these last couple of weeks. Coming in a very close second place at number 9, and look who's there to join them all day long, our current leader overall. Back at the top with 9 points for a close second as well. I'm pretty bad at this. Also pops back up in the leaderboard, 8.5 points. I came in right behind him at 8, and Scary Larry close behind me at 7.5. In the eternal rivalry between these two players, we look at USA Rugby Union and League Fan, 5.5 points, but right behind him is Footy Balls with just 5 points, just a 0.5 difference in this week. And then we look at the overall leaderboard. And there you go. Because of such a great performance this week, All J Long extends his lead back over Harry. 86.75 over Harry, 77.25. But I move up a spot to 76.83. So both I and Harry are right down the neck of All J Long. Escada drops down to 73.5. And look who also is back in the hunt. Scary Larry moves up a spot to 72.58. So even though All J Long has extended the lead just a little bit, there's just a pack of wolves of us right behind them. And again, in the eternal rivalry between USA Rugby League and Union Fan and Footy Balls, USA Rugby League and Union Fan better watch out. Footy Balls moves up a spot and is right behind him. 44.33 between and 39.5. Less than 5 points difference between those two. Again, it is an exciting pick'em pool. Again, I'm very, very happy with the turnout for this pool. Thank you very much, guys, for playing. And again, the example I used for Frisco Flame started the very first week at the bottom of the pool and is working his way up towards the top after some very impressive picks. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, again, not downplaying any of us, not downplaying Scary Larry, who uses math to make his picks. It doesn't take a lot to get these picks right, but you just have to be consistent. And also, too, anything can happen. So even if you feel your pick may not be right, you never know. Especially in MLR, not all the time is it the team that you think's gonna win wins. There are weeks where craziness happens. And I feel especially with this upcoming week number 14, there's going to be some craziness going on. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how the pool plays out. Be very, very interesting to see how the picks play out. Remember, the top player at the end of the pool will win a MLR t-shirt of their team, of a choice of their team, provided by myself. So it's a lot to play for. So as always, thank you very much, guys, for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the pitch.